There are things I wish I had never learned, and there are questions I wish I had never had reason to ask. The creature called Gollum was one such question, and for 17 years he was my obsession. My name is Gandalf, and this is the hunt you were never meant to know about. Let me take you back to a quiet afternoon in the Shire in the year 3001 of the Third Age. Bilbo Baggins, dear, ridiculous, extraordinary Bilbo, had just celebrated his 111th birthday. He gave away everything he owned, almost everything. He kept his ring. I watched him slip it onto his finger in that tent, watched him vanish with a crack and a flash, and felt in my chest something cold that had nothing to do with the night air. A magic ring that resists its owner, a hobbit who called it his precious, and a creature 60 years past who had whispered that same word in the dark beneath the misty mountains. These threads were pulling toward the same terrible needle. For 17 years I searched. Not for Gollum, not yet. First I needed to know what the ring was, because if I was wrong, if Bilbo's ring was merely some enchanted trinket, then all I was doing was frightening myself with shadows. I went to the great library at Minas Tirith. I read every account of Sauron's works, every fragment of lore from the Second Age, and there, buried in the writings of Isildur himself, I found the words I dreaded, a description of the One Ring and its fire writing that no copy or imitation could replicate. It was hot when I first took it, hot as a gleedy, and my hand was scorched, so that I doubt if ever again I shall be free of the pain of it. I left Minas Tirith in a cold sweat. The ring in the Shire was not a trinket. It was the One Ring, the Ring of Power. And somewhere out there, a wretched creature named Gollum knew the name Baggins. I returned to the Shire. I told young Frodo what I'd learned, enough to make him understand the weight of what he carried. And then I gave him 2 instructions. Keep the ring secret, keep it safe. And I gave myself one instruction, find Gollum. Because if Sauron found him first, and believe me, Sauron was looking, the name Baggins and the Shire would be screamed out under torment before a single candle could be lit. I could not do this alone. I am a wizard, not a tracker. And Gollum was a creature of caves and secret paths of silence and cunning. I needed someone who could follow a shadow through a stone forest. I turned to Aragorn, son of Arathorn, the wandering ranger the Bree-folk called Strider. He was the best tracker in the world, and more than that, he was a man I trusted absolutely. I asked him to find Gollum. He agreed without hesitation. That is the kind of man he is. Aragorn spent roughly 2 years hunting Gollum across the wild, from the dead marshes to the borders of Mordor itself. Gandalf coordinated from afar, following his own leads through Rohan and Gondor, gathering intelligence on Sauron's movements. Gollum's trail was not easy to follow. He was remarkably good at not being found. He crept along the edges of the world, staying where no sane creature would walk. The dead marshes, the slag plains near Mordor, the roots of the Emin Muil. Aragorn tracked him for months. Cold months, wet months. Months where every lead went cold and every witness, if you could call a frightened shepherd or a Gondorian border guard a witness, gave contradictory accounts. A pale creature, yes. Thin as a wraith, gone by morning. And then, at last, Aragorn found him. In the year 3017, in the rocky wilderness of the Emin Muil, he caught Gollum. I will tell you, he did not go quietly. Gollum bit, he clawed, he wept. He cursed in languages that hadn't been spoken in 3,000 years. Aragorn, to his enormous credit, did not harm him. He bound him gently, spoke to him with patience I personally would not have managed, and began the long journey to Mirkwood. He is wretched beyond any of your imagining. He will never be truly cured, but even in his twisted state he deserves what pity we can give. Aragorn brought Gollum to the elves of Mirkwood, King Thranduil's realm, for safekeeping. And it was there, in a stone cell lit by 2 small lanterns, that I came to question him myself. I had dreaded this meeting for years, and in person the creature was, I will not pretend otherwise, pitiable. He was ancient. He was broken. Centuries of carrying the ring had taken everything from him. His form, his mind, even the memory of what he had once been. His name, he told me, had once been Sméagol. He had been a hobbit, or something close enough to one to make your heart ache if you let it. That he had lost his precious to a Baggins, that he had been tortured by servants of Sauron in Mordor and had revealed two things under that torment, Shire and Baggins. That this information was already in Sauron's possession. That was the moment everything became urgent. Not suspected, certain. Sauron already knew. The Nazgul were likely already riding, and Frodo was sitting in Bag End, blissfully unaware with the Ring of Power in his pocket. I left Gollum in the care of the Wood Elves and rode with all the speed I had for the Shire. I do not remember much of that ride. I remember only the thought that I might be too late. I had spent 17 years on this question, and I may have spent 1 year too many. People sometimes ask me why it took so long. 17 years, they say, with some impatience. Surely a wizard of your supposed wisdom could have moved faster. Perhaps, but certainty is a dangerous thing to rush. Had I moved too soon, without proof, I would have handed Frodo the ring and sent him into the wild on the word of a suspicion. He deserved more than that. They all did. Frodo, Sam, the whole absurd, magnificent fellowship that none of us yet knew was coming. The hunt for Gollum was never really about Gollum. It was about a question I was terrified to answer. Is the worst truly here? It was. And yet, even knowing that, I still believe it was Frodo who was meant to carry it. And I still believe Bilbo was meant to find it. And strange as it sounds, I still believe Gollum had a part to play, even at the end. But that is another story. If you want to know what happened when Gollum escaped Mirkwood, how he reached Shelob's lair, how he found Frodo, drop it in the comments. Gandalf's story does not end here. Neither does Gollum's. Not quite yet.